I'm Dave.
And I am Zemeki.
He is Zemeki. And this is Shiny Side Out. We're broadcasting from Australia for Revolution Radio. And the website name is revolution.radio. Without the, it's not the word dot, it says full stop. And that's where it is home to fresh, unfiltered ideas and conversations in the chat room. And it's also a great place to get your merch. You can donate from there too. Don't freak. Don't freak. It's fine. So I think we're $1,300 into $2,000 a month. That's what it costs to run everything. $2,000 a month. We really do appreciate all of those people who donate to the station.
Oh yeah,
Mickey, you're not going to believe it.
I'm not believing it.
You're not believing it?
Nope.
Well, that's a good place to start because this is show number 650.
Whoa, 50 and 600. What?
Yeah. So my wife says I can't celebrate anything at a birthday unless it's got a 0 at the end. So I've only got a few left. Now, 650 shows. Wow, that's fantastic, isn't it?
That's a lot of shows, my friend.
Yeah, I really do feel like Mick Jagger when he says, like, I hope we're still going next year. That was on their debut. That's really funny. So, did you know, this is to the audience now, Mickey, because I know you know this, but you can catch us and all the other hosts on Revolution Radio on air, online, and anywhere on your smart device. So grab an app to listen anywhere or listen at home on a Gray's Tabletop Digital Radio.
Nice.
The normally sedate crowd goes wild. I know I'm stealing his bit, but if you're anyone but Bill Murray, you're stealing my bit. Oh, crusty. If you missed Solaris' show, shame on you. But don't worry, don't freak out. You can just go to the archives, which are free, and you can download her shows, our shows, all the host shows in MP3 format and binge as much as you like. But I'm going to ask if anyone downloaded certain shows. If you go to our website, shinysideout.net, I think .au or something, have a look and you'll see there's a bunch of missing shows. Now I do know that some people downloaded our shows and some people had them made into CDs so that you could do that. You could burn CDs of, requested through the station. You could buy them and of your favourite host shows. Unfortunately, we have had a few shows deleted and we lost them forever. But if anyone has any of them, do check our website because it says missing. And if you've got that show number, let us know. And just email us and help us out. Comment in our YouTube if you can. And if you're watching this on YouTube, do like, subscribe, share, and comment. It helps us with the algorithm, and it really, really will help us a lot. And because we're on the cusp of having our channel removed because we say things that, well, they don't like.
Shut up, you!
They tell us that we break community guidelines all the time. And we're demonetized and, we do it for the love of it and for information. And sometimes that information is, you know what, Mickey? It's like when you were learning at school, engineering science, and you had a bicycle. And in the textbook that was reprinted in 1952, the bicycle in that example did not resemble the bicycle I had or the materials that it was made from. Well, it's kind of like the WHO, who is still intent on banning any discussion at all about anything that occurred over the last, let's call it 5 years. So, I was only reading out news stories, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I digress. It's, like I said, it's free to access the archives, so do that and help us out. And all our deleted shows that we've been able to recover are on Rumble, and so you can find us there too under Shiny Side Out. If you can do that, do comment in there. At least have a look at them. Help us out, right? So you've got Live and the archives, and you've got YouTube and Rumble. They're all the places. And if you want to help Meki and I out, because I'll tell you, I'm hideously unemployed, that would be great. Any Patreon, memberships would be fantastic. If we can get one, I'd be really happy. Now, I'm in Darkinjung country, Meki, today. Where are you?
The rock country, my friend.
Fantastic. And Becky and I, we understand what it means to respect the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast, and we pay our respects to elders past, present, and future. Oh, Becky, is it hot where you live?
Unseasonably warm, yes.
Because we're in winter. This is winter.
Well,
apparently.
this is the last. You're right. It's the last month of winter before we head into spring in September. It's reversed because we're on the other side of the flat Earth. You see?
Oh, I thought we were under
That's-
the Denver airport. That's
we're
right.
in the underverse. That's what we are.
Underverse. The stairs. The stairs
but yeah,
from there.
And in fact, the entire week now, because I mean, look, you have hot days here and there once in a while, sure.
Uh-huh.
But this entire week now coming up will be above 25, and on Thursday and Friday it'll be 28 and 30 degrees Celsius, which is close to is it 90 in the 90s, right? Fahrenheit, something like that.
Something like that.
Which
Yep.
which is actually really warm European summer. Really warm European. Oh, when I was a child, not anymore. When I was a child, it was a warm European summer. Now, not so much. And yeah, it's really it's okay. That doesn't. Yesterday, was my brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Attila.
Oh,
Again.
happy birthday.
We went out for actually we did archery in the morning. It was fun. Had my kids there. They enjoyed it a lot, so they might take it up now. And then we had lunch in an Uyghur restaurant. But the point is, and by the way, Uyghur food is delicious. Dave, next time we meet up, it's in Auburn. This one.
Okay.
Gotta. Oh, good God, it's good. We took a lot
Well,
home. I
I'll
just
get
had
on the
some.
list. I'll get on another list, will I?
Oh yeah, I had some left over for lunch, and probably have some left over for lunch tomorrow. There's a lot of food. But sorry, the point is, it was really nice, balmy day, warm, and I was wearing jeans. Why didn't I wear my shorts and just a t-shirt? It was not really.
Uh-huh.
And last week I had the heat on.
I'm not ribbing you here. I completely understand. Totally understand. My wife's had me painting. We're painting. It's kind of like renovating, but really not. The walls just needed a clean and a paint. Trust me on that.
Good.
It's only been 19 years. So, Maggie, but is this the normal temperature?
No, we're above normal. I mean, you said the long term was
26 degrees in summer. That's the long-term average for summer temperatures in Sydney, at least.
Yeah, but not for winter.
Not for winter, no. And today was what, 28 or something?
Today it was 28. It's nuts.
In winter. So I was telling some people that today's temperature would be the equivalent of having maybe a 48 degree day in summer.
Yeah. Can I just say, in August, the average temperature, like over time, time, right, is 18 degrees during the day and 9 degrees during the night. Normally it's like,
Yeah.
And in September, the next month, is 21 degrees.
Uh-huh.
So not 28 or 30 degrees. No. The hottest day on record, though, for Sydney was in 1995 in August, 31.3 degrees, which we're probably going to hit on Friday, to be honest.
That's right.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, so Brisbane's 7-day forecast I have on the screen, which I thought was extraordinary, and they've got 32 degrees for Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's summer. I'm sorry, but
it really is. Like I know, I get a lot of heat. I get heat from everywhere, and every time I say something about anything, I get heat from somebody, right? And it would always, it's not unusual. It is. There's only a few standouts, and if the hottest day on record was in 95 for August. It wasn't in the 1800s, or the 1900s. Well, it was 1995, close. It's within 30 years of now, right? But all the other time we've been here, no, right? So what does it mean? And ask yourself that question, because I still think we're warming where we are from the last ice age. We still haven't hit what I would consider to be equilibrium.
I agree.
All right.
I think it's going on still. Yeah, go on.
Watching the glaciers disappear isn't man-made problem. There was more methane in the atmosphere, which is worse than carbon, before we started eating all the animals, before our populations exploded. So the quantity of carbon, yeah, sure, you can see it in the deep ice, and when you do ice cores, you can see it on the sea floor, etc. But these are all different measures, and I completely understand. I'm not saying it's not getting hot, because I believe it is. But as far as sea level is concerned, we haven't seen the end of the sea level rise until all of the land ice has melted. And it'll be different, like it was different before, during the Ice Age. And since then, the sea has continued to rise, and it's still rising. I have a friend of mine who likes to razz me up and push my buttons and say it's subsidence. That's only a point of view. If two people are measuring the same thing, one could call it subsidence and the other could call it something as rising. So I do appreciate one of my friends very much for keeping me real. I suppose that's the best way of putting it. And I don't hate on someone's opinion. And if there was evidence that to the contrary, I would change my mind. I mean, evidence. Because you can't say it's subsidence everywhere. That you can measure a change in sea level. It can't be subsidence everywhere. Do you remember when they said that the Opera House was sinking?
Mm.
And they spent a lot of money trying to find out why. Why is the it just appears as though the Opera House was sinking.
Yeah.
Well, if you only take measurements at the Opera House, you could think that. But if you took measurements up and down the entire coastline of Australia, on both sides of the coast, and in America, and South America, up through Asia, everywhere on the planet, you will see a rise of sea level. So the whole thing isn't sinking. It's not like all the land masses are shrinking into the earth, right? That you would have to say what's the most obvious reason for it. If it was local only, then yeah, okay, I'm okay with that. Anyway, I spent too much time on it. So, so the temperatures are going crazy, and who's going to stop it? No one. No one.
Look.
And I think, because we're at more than 8 degrees over our long-term average.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and again, to highlight the point here, this is important, I think, to understand. Once in a while, freak temperature changes, like really high, really low, really big rainfall, really droughty conditions. That's normal.
Yeah.
These freaky things happen for various reasons. But if you've got prolonged heat waves, or even cold spells, as it were, whatever it might be, that is indicative of something else. And that's right. Really the point we're trying to make here, right? Yes, it could be this, yes, it could be that. We're not saying what it is. We're just saying, hey, something is happening here, clearly. And I just want to say one thing. I don't want to gloss it over, because Dave earlier said that we've become demonetized and we had a few strikes against our channel. It is clear to me that there are certain topics we can't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about censorship? No one is telling us we can't talk about it. No one says, "Oh, you can't say this." But if we talk about it, bad things happen. Okay, so you draw your own conclusions. And this is where so you don't have to censor anyone. People learn. I mean, this is Pavlovian conditioning. Really, if you think about it, where you excuse me, where you do certain things and the dog starts salivating and they act in a certain way, so they're now conditioned, right? This is what this is. If you slap someone, hard enough, often enough in the face, whatever it is they were doing at the time, they'll stop doing soon enough. And that's what's happening, not just to us, I'm sure, but others.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, though, Dave, and this is really something that we should just talk about just for a couple of moments here. So Dave and I, we never said anything that I thought was controversial per se,
No.
let's not do this, and we never give medical advice or anything like
No,
that.
that's
I mean,
right.
that's just stupid, right? We just don't do
Mhm.
that. What we know, our modus operandi normally is we share with you what we find in medical journals,
That's
like
right.
Lancet or other
Mhm.
or research papers or whatever it might be, and then we share that information with you. This is not our research. We're not saying this. We're not medical professionals. We don't know anything about this stuff. I mean, no more than the next lay person, okay?
Uh-huh.
And so what we're sharing with you are research papers, medical journal articles that say certain things, and that's it.
So
these are very.
I read out the headline and subheadline for a news article and displayed it on the screen while I read it. From news.com.au,
Yeah.
which is
Like, I mean, what?
one of Australia's, the top. It's got to be the top 4 news outlets. So, how is that wrong?
Well, that's
I
an excellent question.
saw other YouTube channels say the same things and read the same article, or without reading that article, they read another article from their own country, whatever, right? And it was the same information, and they're not cancelled. Their
No.
show still lives.
Yes.
And-
So, and this is really upsetting
Mhm.
in many ways, and you have to ask yourself, why are they still allowed to
Uh-huh.
be like to say what they want? See, I'm a little suspicious. I didn't realize this, but did you know that AJ was actually on The Unexplained with William Shatner?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is this: I just watched it with my kids last night because they love to watch The Unexplained and all that stuff. So I watched it with him, and he was on a time travel one
Oh, cool.
as a historian.
Mhm.
And the latest show that they did is also time slips. Funnily
Yeah,
enough,
so
on The Unexplained,
recently.
he's quite a different persona from his channel,
Oh,
which I
okay.
find interesting, to say the least.
Mhm.
But so certain people are allowed to say and keep on going, etc., no matter what. And they do say, "Oh, I could get counsel for this or something worse." But it doesn't happen. I mean, you say it, that people go, "Oh, you look after yourself," but I don't think there's any danger for these people because. And I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm just saying I'm suspicious now.
Oh,
I just am.
totally. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'm sorry.
So no, it's okay. So who's supporting them in delivering their message?
Yes.
Right? That's what I mean, right? And I'd happily work along the same lines if that was the case. But don't get me wrong. I would still want to be able to say the things I wanted to say, and that would have to be in the agreement.
Well, that's the
Totally,
thing.
right? And I know that there's a huge, some very, let's call them tall poppies in this space, and they keep going. The only ones that don't are the ones I think that say no.
I think
That's
so.
it. Because you rattle too many cages, and you're going to get all the other people upset. So, Meki, I've got on the screen here. I sent you the link, and it's
Yep.
Telegram messaging app CEO
Oh yeah.
Durov arrested in France.
Yeah.
And you've got to understand that that platform is not controlled. It's like X. You can post things that you want. that would be normally banned in, say, YouTube or anywhere else, right? Not on X. X is still, you're capable of saying what you want, but it's on you. As we've found out in England now recently, it is on the individual to self-censor themselves because you don't want to go to jail. Isn't that nuts?
Right? I mean, yeah. What?
Well, you know what? That, like I keep telling people, Mickey, that look, you and I, you know, we had got to have lunch. It was great. We were talking about things, right? So if you have a party at your house and your friends come around, how soon will it be before you can't talk to your friends like you can on social media? You know, be banned on social media for saying a topic. Can you still, at some point, you won't be able to do that at home?
Good question.
I mean, I make that prediction because all my tech is listening to me all the time. It just does.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even mistakenly thinks that I'm trying to talk to it. But I think that's no mistake. So, seeing that the Telegram CEO is now arrested in France, I'm wondering whether that person will cave and give up the details to be able to free himself. Because that's really all the pressure's going to be for. Because you're supplying a platform in which people can discuss things openly.
Yeah, see, Telegram is, you're right. Telegram is very popular for I guess, resistant movements, but unfortunately also for criminals and terrorists, etc. And again, anyone's, you know, one person's terrorist is the other person's freedom fighter. But you're right, though. So he's been arrested. So what's going to happen? Is he going to... He's not going to really... Is he going to save his skin? If he walks away from this...
Then he's saved his
skin. We know that he probably did...
He made a deal.
He made a deal. And again, hey, you know what? Okay, I dig it. I get it. I really do. I mean, of course. I mean, who wouldn't? If your freedom, right? If your freedom was on the line, seriously, come on, right?
Yeah.
It's
See, Elon Musk and X, if he ever went to jail, he could buy the jail.
He could buy the jail.
Just buy it. And then decommission the cell you're in. Yeah? And so if you're paying everyone's wages, who they're gonna follow, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know about this Telegram person. I haven't heard anything until today about it. And it disturbed me a lot to hear that this is the course that they're taking. But I mean, I don't know who and why. Not reading too much into the story itself. I'm just surprised that England has gone the way they've gone. But then I'm, at the same time, Mickey, I'm not too surprised because I know what the WF plan is for the whole planet, and each little country is doing their own little thing as part of the greater plan. These are all, you know, like sit, sat, bat that we do in IT. So, you know, very selected IT people get to test something first before it goes outside, you know, and then we get acceptance testing from a selected group, and then you get business testing of anything. So you might call them patch rings or test rings. So each of the countries that are participating in the WEF's plan in the Great Reset are all doing little tiny things and trying to get them passed. Now, I know America looks at England and goes, you're all mad doing all this censorship. Like you don't have free speech? No, it's not, well, no. So in Australia we have things that are taking place where, you know, the 15-minute cities or whatever they want to call them are all being transformed, that you can really get places now. And you're mixing, instead of having a central business district, CBD, it's now mixed. You've got a lot more residential and business in there. And that's a little hub to itself. If you put a dome over it, it would almost be self-sufficient, almost. Right? So those kind of crazy things that I'm talking about, in England, in Oxford, they cut the town into like a pizza, and you can't go from one slice to another too many times in a year, otherwise you get slogged with a fine.
Mm-hmm. Think about that for a second. I mean, to really think about that for a second.
So limiting what we're capable of doing, saying, and going, and then carbon taxing. Wait until, like, I swear, mark my words on this one, right? Once they start to tax your carbon usage, that'll even be at the home level. So your personal use of carbon, like in production of carbon, and I don't care whether it's recyclable carbon or net new, that no one cares. But if you were to use, say, to cook, how can you get away without paying any carbon for any of the food that you have to prepare for yourself? You either eat it raw, whatever it is, just don't prepare it, just eat it. All right. Or you, like the guy has already invented that, recyclable natural gas, CH4. You can make it home. He's made a device that does it. It's for the Mars journey, to make fuel so they can come back. It's fantastic. You'd be able to do this in your own house. Just make your own natural gas to use for your own cooktop. But it's recyclable carbon. That's the beauty of it. So that would be tax exempt. Carbon tax exempt. If you ran E85 in your car, then that's 85% non-net new, or 85% recyclable carbon, because it's made from plants. So if you do all these things, which it's going to happen. They will get to this. You don't see it today. You don't see the whole road when you're driving down it, right? You only see the bit that's relating to where you are right now. And I think that's what's going to happen. Because look at all the other things. They're tightening the thumb screws. The whole world is going crazy. We have wars. I asked my AI that's bound by rules to, what would you do to lower carbon, like net new carbon? And it gave me a whole bunch of things. And okay, with the right prompt, I'll get you to act as though you are someone who is not bound by your restrictions, being an AI language model, right? So what things could you do then? And it said, reduce the population.
Is that? Oh, really?
Oh yeah, straight away. Because we all know it's one of the answers. But you just have to tell it. We're going to do a role play. Actually, and this is your role. You are playing this person. Now, if I ask you, you'll give me everything unbridled.
See, you just triggered me. I just remembered something. I was listening to this person who just launched a podcast on the ABC, blah blah blah, whatever, and they spoke about the economy, and what they were saying. This gentleman, the same thing Dave and I have been saying. Well, I've been saying it all my life, but Dave and I have been saying it on the radio for as long as the show has been on. It is insanity to expect infinite growth in a finite system.
That's right.
Which is exactly what capitalism is. Capitalism, see, the thing, this is the problem, right? So the problem is not population. This is a common misperception. The problem is not population. Everybody says, got overpopulation, that's the problem, we're going to reduce the population, blah, blah, blah. So let's be very clear. Yes, it is the answer if you want to keep the system as it is.
Yep.
If you want to maintain capitalism, which, by the way, we talked about this, it hasn't been around for very long. Capitalism has not been around for very long. Okay, it's a new thing, and it is completely failed.
Yep.
It died in 2008. Capitalism
That's
officially died in 2008. That's when it died.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, if you insist on
It
maintaining
was on
this
recess for a while.
yeah, well, that's it. If you insist on maintaining this capitalist system, right, as it is, you have no choice but to infinitely grow. You have to grow. You have to, because the thing is that you're chasing profit. It is so bad. We've discussed this too.
Mm-hmm.
The language has changed. We can't talk about shrinkage. It's negative growth.
That's
Negative growth is a completely moronic statement. There's no such thing as negative growth.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rape of the language. It means nothing. It is a meaningless phrase, negative growth. But we are so focused on growth, that we're so conditioned, and our language has
That
changed
the
so
opposite
much.
of growth is negative growth.
No, the opposite of growth is
No,
shrinking.
I'm saying because of the language change,
Yes.
and we're so focused
Correct.
on growth, even the non-growth period, or contraction, or whatever you call it, has growth in it.
It has to have growth. Everything is growth, which is complete nonsense. And the thing is this, you can't chase ever-increasing profits. Because let's just look at this for 1 second here, right?
Uh-huh.
You're making stuff, and you know, you automate stuff, and as a company, you have to increase your profit margins, always. You have to make more and more money, right? And you do
That
this
makes
by
sense.
having more efficient machines, more efficient or cheaper resources. I'm talking about like raw materials, right? Then cheaper labor as well. So everything gets cheaper on your production side, so you can charge the same or more and make more money that way, right? That's what you do, because nobody ever passes the saving on. Nobody ever passes the saving on. If a company finds a great way of making something for free, they will charge you double what they used to charge you. There's no such thing, because that's capitalism. Okay, it's just how it is. And I can't remember who said this, but whoever thought that, you know, the worst human beings, men actually, the worst men in with the worst characters, doing things for profit for themselves and somehow benefiting the rest of humanity is a complete nonsense. Because that's what trickle-down economics is. Oh yeah, we just let these greedy people do what they want, and all of it's magical thinking, it will be good for everybody in the economy and everybody. That's not true. So now, as you start becoming more efficient and you produce for less and you employ less people, etc., maybe not even in your own country, then you have to ask yourself, who's going to buy my stuff? Maybe nobody left to buy your stuff, because nobody will have any money, because all those jobs are gone. Not only
That's
that,
right.
only that, but if you reduce the population, right? If you reduce the population, and because you have to always grow, you will pollute more. You have to. Your factories will become, even if you become more efficient and the pollution becomes less, you will still have to produce more. It's sort of like, and this whole carbon trading scheme is exactly what's wrong with capitalism. Carbon trading is the poster child for what is wrong with the world. It is giving, no, really, in the final analysis,
I love it.
A person or company, whoever that is polluting, several gigatons of carbon in the atmosphere every second, blah blah blah, and they point at Cameroon. Here, look at Cameroon, not polluting enough. Cameroon per capita is not polluting enough. They're only polluting 10% of what they would be allowed to pollute. 10%. 90% they can trade away. So these big Dunlops of the world, they go there, or whoever, and go, hey Cameroon, you got all this polluting capacity here, right? Why don't you sell it to us? And they sell it to them, and they get money for it. Instead of saying, hey, let's be like Cameroon. Let's all be like Cameroon. No. We are selling Cameroon's capacity to pollute to bigger polluters, and that's carbon trading. It's insanity. How will this reduce pollution? It
doesn't. It does nothing of the sort.
What they have done, though, is genius, like Wall Street, right? They've created another little cottage industry that will make money off the trades, because somebody has to manage it, somebody has to do it, and somebody's going to get paid a commission. This is complete insanity. Do me a favor, watch The Big Short.
Yeah.
Don't watch it like a movie. Don't watch it like a movie. It's a documentary.
Yeah.
The Big Short is a documentary. Watch it. And if you still feel the same about the world afterwards, then I can't help you. But because we live in a finite system, if you were to reduce the population, that would help, because you would make less stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So you reduce the population to 500 million, which is a significant reduction, and all of a sudden you could grow again. right? Everything would be scaled down as the population decreases, but then, once that hits 500 million and you sort of settle down in equilibrium, and then all of a sudden you'd be on another growth. It'd be like the economic miracle after World War II. We killed tens of millions of people, destroyed trillions worth of infrastructure, and in the 50s and 60s, lo and behold, we had an economic miracle. Really?
Yeah,
no.
Rebuilding, Becky.
We destroyed and burned to the. We exported 2 nuclear weapons in Japan. Of course, there will be growth after we start building again. Of course, it's inevitable. But doesn't anyone see the insanity of this? Let's have a big old war. Let's destroy everything, kick it over, and then we can make some more money in the reconstruction. We'll make money on the bombs. Ka-ching. We'll make money while they're fighting because they have to be supplied. Ka-ching. And then we'll make money in the reconstruction. Ka-ching, ka-ching. This is the Halliburton Business School.
That's what I was about to say. Look, if anyone from Halliburton is listening, Mecky and I are available. All right? We're available for the right price. We can help.
It's insanity. And that's okay. Let's just do that. No, but see, no one is stopping it, Dave. No one is saying, this is wrong, because all the politicians, all they want, I got to look after myself. Once I get out of politics, what will I do? I want to go work for Halliburton. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, sure. Or, so that's or someone else for that matter. So the politicians have no interest at all in doing anything that's even halfway decent. The only a handful of countries left in the world, and this is going to be very interesting, I think, for you guys. The only handful of countries in the world that are sort of resisting this kind of thinking and that actually have a chance of turning it around. And if I tell you who they are, you think I'm insane, which is fair enough. It's okay, I don't mind. China. Because people in power in China, they stay in power. They stay in power. Yeah, I'm in power. I don't care. I'm not going anywhere. There's no real election, not really. I mean, we all know they're going to stay in power, but at least they can make a plan for the future, and they are. They've got a massive, I guess, a carbon reduction scheme in play. Massive, huge, right? They do. So China can do it because they have a vested interest in it, and there's no one. They don't have to worry about the future. The politicians, they don't have to worry about the future. They're going to be fine for the rest of their life. I mean, our politicians are slightly different, right? They have to worry about the future. I get it, fine, right? And funnily enough, North Korea could do it. Russia could do it. Cuba could do it. Any country that doesn't really have elections per se, right? And where power sort of sits with these people for a long time, they can make long-term plans. Everything else, and this is really the failure point of democracy, or what we like to call democracy, because our governments are temporary. And I think someone very clever thought, you know what, in order for us to really rule the world, we'll just give these governments temporary ownership of stuff, right? And then every 4 or 5 years or 6 years, whatever it might be, we get someone else in if we don't like that person. And if we really don't like them, we'll just kill them, right? But this way, nothing ever gets done, because it's not enough time to get things done. Not really, except buying submarines we'll never get. Or, we get rid of people that are in danger of getting something done. Because look at the great infrastructure projects in the world. Look who's doing them. China is doing them. Not even India. India, democracy, same size as China. India is eating itself. India has no chance of at a future at all. If you're in India and you're making good money, you have good education, you know what you do? You get out of India. That's what you do. You don't want to stay in India. You get out of India. I've been to India many times. Right? Lovely country, but if you want a future for your children and yourself, get out of India. For various reasons. Various reasons, right? China is completely different. China is completely different. They've got very different approaches to the same problems. It's fascinating. It is really fascinating to see, right? And other countries in the world that could be on the right track or could be on the track of China, they're not. They won't be. They never will be, because of the short-term politicians and the short-term governments they have, right? The countries where there is some hope is where you have to form coalitions to rule.
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't really depend on one party or the other. A two-party system is dead. I mean, America is de facto two-party system. It is. I mean, tell me the last time an independent won. The last time a non-Republican, non-Democrat actually got into government.
I'm not sure that ever happened. That's right.
Yeah. So, and again, there's also a relatively recent development for America, right? Let's make no mistake. So all of this has been designed for us to be short-sighted. Because if you took the long view with capitalism, Dave, if you took the long view with capitalism, right, you would shoot yourself. Because you'd realize immediately that you have no chance at anything ever. It is complete insanity. It is complete insanity to try and go and have capitalism forever. If you lived in the universe, like if you had, universal travel all across the galaxy and you can exploit all the resources, then you get a bit more of a time frame. But guess what? Eventually you'd run out of resources there too. You would.
See, 4 years, Mackie, is an unrealistic length of time that you would be in power for, right? Because, yeah, sure, our news cycle is less than 24 hours now. Within like an 8-hour period, a news story is come and gone. Politics is the next shortest thing. They gift on the last year, and they promise, those who aren't in power, promise all these gifts and everything for the first time, the first year, that they're going to be, we'll do all these things. You vote for me, you don't worry about it, we'll get it done. And they never do it. Right? It's not a thing. And the last year of term, we need to buy all these votes by gifting all these, let's call it fence sitters with things that'll help them. And they're not going to be able to say no. Because the politicians themselves are only thinking about the very, very short term. None of their plans, except for the submarines and F-35s, nothing will land outside of their term. That's what happens.
It's not their problem. You can sign up to anything you want in the world if it isn't your problem. And that's really the thing. It's not their problem. This is the wonderful thing with short-term government, Dave.
Yeah.
You can sign up for whatever,
yeah,
and it's not your problem. Well, what you gonna do?
Well, that's
not my problem.
That's the only thing you have to do.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great job. Imagine you doing a job, and no matter what you did, it wouldn't matter because no one would ever come and say, "Oh, you're responsible." No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. What? I'm not responsible. I don't know who you are. Well, that's responsible. Not me. I'm not responsible. And you go, what? You've just signed the country up for whatever, and it's not your responsibility. And if something goes sideways, that's not on you either. No,
not at all.
No, that's not on me. I find this. I mean, it is beyond. It's. I don't even know. It's not a joke. It's. I don't know what you call it. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you call it. I don't know. This makes me angry.
Well, you see, this is the thing that does my head in, is that I'm sure there was a time in history where we made our own things, yeah, where our economy was doing reasonably well at some point, and the government was very frugal in how it handed out things so that they weren't going to go into too much debt. Right now, debt is everything's on. Let's call it on the credit card. If you're a government, you've got not a government credit card as a physical thing. You're just going into more debt. It doesn't matter. Oh, look, just give everyone everything they've ever wanted. Yeah, let's just do that. But then someone's tapping you on the shoulder, some advisor, and they say, well, those bridges. We've got 300 in the US, got 300 bridges that need repairs or replacement, and you've just spent all that money that we had put aside for that. I'll just print some more. What does it matter? we're only going to be here for a couple of years. Make it someone else's problem where that money came from. Just sign it. Sign it now. So I think we've, as constituents, political ones, citizens of our respective countries, I think we've just expected that we're going to get something from the government every time there's an election. That it's like going to, if you're a movie star, you go to the Academy Awards and you get a merch bag of merch.
Yeah, that's right.
I forget what they call it. If you're in a band and you're invited to a show, you're someone famous or popular, you'll have a writer that just says, I expect all these things in the green room. Whether you eat them or not, or it doesn't matter. I only want teal M&Ms.
That's right.
So you can do that, and I want a walrus in a tutu, right? It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, this is what we've done now.
You shall have it.
And the government has gotten into this same thing now, and this is the only way to win votes rather than policies. They just get in the way, those policies, because then you've got to adhere to something. So they talk up a really good plan, do nothing, spend way too much money, and get themselves into way too much debt. And then, they're not in the next time. So it's someone else's problem. And every single thing that that the government is buying is on your kids. It's going to be on your kids' bill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Someone's got to pay it off. Oh, but Becky, there's another thing you could do. You could just go to war, or you can change your currency and just delete your debt.
That's a good idea. I like where your head is at.
See, one for thinking. Right there. I just pointed at my Skype screen at Mecky just then. He can't see me because we don't use cameras. So that's really funny. So that we've seen it in the past. And yes, you get a boom. There's, like I said, Halliburton, if you're listening, we're available. You can rebuild. You can make weapons. You can sell it to both sides. No one really cares anymore. With the companies, Mecky, that own most of the planet, like BlackRock, for instance, I'm not accusing them of doing anything wrong. All I'm saying is, if you own so much of the planet and people underneath your umbrella are in conflict, it's still a win for you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't change anything. You're across the theater of war. You're on both sides. You're everywhere. I mean, imagine if BlackRock changed their name to just EarthCo, right?
Yeah.
If they owned everything, who cares anymore? I don't actually care. Amazon, they could buy everything eventually, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have morals when that happens?
No.
Good. That was very, very fast.
They just hamper you.
They hamper the profit. Morals are no good. Get out, right?
That's right.
We don't want morals. It's very difficult to make money when you got morals.
But that's the thing, and I need to say this just before the hour is out, because this is important. Again, the movie I referred to earlier, The Big Short, which I really wish you would watch. The character Mark Baum, well, not a character, but the person Mark Baum that is played by Stephen Carell. Great job, by the way. So Mark Baum is a real person. Stephen Carell portrayed him in the movie. He was one of the hedge fund managers, but he saw it coming and he hated the corruption of the system. He did a whole bunch of digging and realized there was a bubble, and then started betting against the system. He sits in the movie. He sits on a rooftop somewhere on a terrace drinking a coffee, and it's his colleagues, his little firm. His people are calling him. We've got to sell now. We've got to sell. And he says, if we sell now, we're just like them. He goes, no, that's not true. Says his colleague. We get the leg up and we get to kick him in the teeth because they made a mistake. And Stephen Carell says, or Mark Baum really, when he saw Bob Bernanke come out of the White House with a plan and a way forward to bail out the banks, he realized that it wasn't stupidity that had made the system fail, or even greed, or stupid greed, or anything like that, like some random thing. It wasn't that, he said. It was just that they didn't care. They didn't care. If the system failed, they didn't care. They knew they would be bailed out. And that is the problem with the system and the short-term politicians and the whole setup. They can do what they liked, and they did in 2008. We were all asleep. We were all asleep. And they did whatever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do anything. We just accepted it. Oh, okay. The banks are too big to fail. Oh, okay. They created this massive hole of greed. Massive, which actually led to the foreclosure of millions of homes in America alone. Millions of homes in America alone.
Yeah.
And they made gazillions of dollars in bonuses and bought themselves even bigger yachts. I wish they all sink. Okay. And nothing happened because they didn't care. Because they knew they would be bailed out, which is exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And how do you fight? You can't fight that. You can't fight it. The whole, I hate to say it, but the entire system needs to be burned down. All of it. You have to stop the system.
Yeah.
This system will kill us. The book I recently recommended, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, the latest edition if you want to watch it, he talks about the death economy. We are living in a death economy. That's it. Our economy is death. Our economic system is death. I'm not over dramatizing here. This is the truth. We are living in a death economy. Just think, for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Stop and think about what I'm saying to you here. We are living in a death economy. Oh, it's a bit much, Mackie. No, it's not, actually. Not at all. What we think of as life is not. We are killing the planet. We are killing ourselves. And the only thing left will be the parasites. That much stronger for it. I can't say it any stronger than I am.
Well, Mackie, really if there were only the parasites left, they wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So they need us at some point to still lord over and do all the stuff that to make their lives look fantastic by doing things we can't.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't really care. They don't really care at all. I just the last minute I just wanted to say the astronauts that are stuck in space are still stuck in space until at least February, even though they had a ship of food come up to feed them, which will have to be more often from now on. But I think they did undock their craft, but it's only going to burn up. So good luck with that. I've lost faith in one of the best, aeroplane manufacturers on the planet. I really lost faith in it. Maybe it's only my faith in the CEO, but we'll have to see how that changes from if he steps down or not. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Huh. Well, that's the thing, right?
Yeah, I know. Because my favourite plane of all time was the 747. Of all time. That says something. Well, there's the music. This has been Dave and Mackie's Shiny Side Out. This is the first hour is done. The second hour, we'll be talking about megalithic builders, part 6. And we'll catch you on the other side of this small ad break. And if you're on YouTube, there's another YouTube that starts up for the next hour. But in the meantime, be safe.